Good evening, Mgtow. This is Mgtow Jesus. Just calling in to kind of give you guys a little update. The female in my life, she was only here today, gone tomorrow. It was quick, it was painless, I enjoyed myself, and she's gone. But it's for the better. She's no longer in an abusive relationship. I wish that I could have enjoyed her a little longer, but my ultimate goal was to help her, get out of a bad relationship and to help her find strength in herself and make the big push towards adulthood. I mean, after all, she was only 21 with the mentality of a 15-year-old, so I think it did her some good. I don't know. But she moved back up to her family to start over and go continue her schoolwork, so who knows? One day we'll talk. However, what this video is about is explaining Mgtow to a woman. To some of you, you may have never actually had the privilege, or you never have had the courage to mention your Mgtow, to explain the weird word itself, Mgtow. They're like, what? Is that some Asian thing? Mgtow. No. I had to explain what Mgtow was. Mgtow. It means men going their own way. Well, gentlemen, explaining what Mgtow is, within minutes, within seconds of explaining how you don't subscribe to marriage because of the unfair laws, or you think that relationships at this point are very dangerous grounds. Dating in itself is a hostile environment where men can be accused of rape at any moment, and it's just not worth the hassle. This is before you even get into the nature of women. God forbid you mention that. Well, this little Victoria's Secret model that I had of her girlfriend, I had to explain to her these things. And naturally, her eyes get angry and her posture gets more defensive, and she says, well, men aren't perfect either, and men aren't it's not that men don't do anything either, It's not all women that are the problem. You're absolutely right. Yeah, everyone can be shitty. Everyone is responsible for their actions, and everyone should be held responsible for their actions. I said, do you know what gynocentrism means? She looked clueless, of course. I had to explain to her what gynocentrism was. And for those of you who don't know, gynocentrism is our society that we live in the Western society, where we basically worship the uterus. We make laws that are biased towards the uterus to protect the woman. We have a support system set up for them, a safety net set up for them, and laws that enforce and supply them with whatever they need, regardless of their actions, to a point where it's basically criminal. And to the point where they can decide what lives and dies, and what's worth keeping and what's worth throwing away, regardless of what you care about or what's important to you, to a point where as humanity we look at it and go, my God, men are basically worms in dirt, and women can come along and just pluck us out whenever they want, and that's the end of it. No one seems to care. So I had to explain to her what gynocentrism was. I said, look outside, go to the mall, go down to the mall, the biggest mall in North Carolina, Concord Mills Mall. Go there. How many stores cater directly to the female? And she thought, well, yeah, basically all of them. I said, exactly. But who has the highest dollar amount worth that they can spend? She goes, men usually do. I said, exactly. So what do you think happens? Why do you think these malls, why do you think these places with all these women's clothing are able to continue to keep the lights on? She's like, because the men buy the women's clothes. And I said, exactly. I was like, so your job in life, apparently, as she's wearing her name brand designer this and $1,400 bag and her $800 rings and her $2,500 frickin' coat, like, where do you think she got it from? She's a college student that's 21. She hasn't had time to work. She went from high school to college. She's a junior. She's literally been in school her entire life, and she owns things that are more expensive than my car. She owns a coat that's worth twice as much as my car. And she doesn't know what gynocentrism is. So I had to explain it to her. Naturally, she gets defensive. However, if you ever have to explain Mgtow to a woman, don't jump down their throat whenever they start to come back and be defensive, or start to make some attack towards men, or even make the comparison of feminism to Mgtow. Well, she did on her own. She says, wow, it sounds like you're basically feminism, but for men. And I said, that's funny, because a lot of times people say that we're woman haters, and you've made the comparison that we're feminists, but for men. And yet, feminists would say they weren't man haters. I think that's funny. I was like, actually, all I really care about is help and support for men. I had to explain to her, I said, let's just keep it simple. Look at shelters. It's known, it has become common knowledge that it's 50-50 as far as domestic violence is concerned. She goes, okay. I was like, but how many shelters do you think? Let's just look at the UK. I was like, the UK, United Kingdom. I was like, there's well over 1,700 shelters across the country. How many men's shelters do you think there are? She goes, probably, what, 600, 700? I said, try 617. 16, 17. I was like, and men wanted to have about, they just want to double that. They wanted to go to about 30 to 34 and help spread it out just a little bit more, just to make it a little bit more useful, a little more accessible for men. I was like, and you know what they were met with? She goes, what? I was like, they were met with a ton of protesters, feminist protesters preaching equality, saying that men and focusing on men's issues is, quote, misogyny. It's hatred towards women. I said to her, right now, you've made my claims synonymous to woman hating. It's funny, because all I've done is mention how good women have it. I didn't say anything about how bad they were, or anything about their nature. I hadn't even got there. I just said, look at how many stores there are for women, and where the money comes from. Don't you think it's a little strange? And when she realized that she had jumped the gun on me being full of hate towards women, being Mgtow and talking about men's issues, she says, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad men have it. What, she said, I'm so sorry. I said, you don't need to apologize. You're a 21-year-old woman. You're beautiful, and you're in college. At this point, the best you can do is keep an open mind and think for yourself. The best you can do for society, or whichever man, whoever you decide to stay with, just be you and open your mind. Listen. That's all you can do. At least be receptive. Because if not, you're never going to grow. And she goes, wow, thanks. What do you do? She's 21, I'm 30. In any case, as a Mgtow, I want each and every one of you to know that I have no intention of dating. I have no intention of marrying. I have no intention of fathering more children. I intend to enjoy my IPA and enjoy my cigarette and relax on the porch on a rainy evening and just soak in the freedom. By the way, I'm drinking Hopium, Hoppyum. It's an IPA. I found it at Food Lion, and it's really sweet. It's got a 6% alcohol by volume, but it's very sweet for an IPA. I think you might like it. It's mostly, it's Hopium, so hops are sweet, barley is bitter. Anyways, for an IPA, it's very moderate, and it didn't give me heartburn. So for any of you who like IPAs but don't like the heartburn, like myself, try Hopium. It's good. Where was I? My next video, I'm going to talk about victimhood again, but there is something very important I wanted to speak about, and I will divulge more in my next video. But for the sake of confusion, I'm going to start using this picture a little bit more whenever I just kind of want to share with you guys. I think it illustrates that best. It's a different rendition of a round table as the Last Supper, which I prefer more than the 2D Michelangelo version. Anyways, or is it Leonardo da Vinci? Someone will correct me in the comments, I'm sure. Like and subscribe, and be sure to add to the comments below. Your support, love, and admiration, and of course a little bit of ass kissing is always going to take you far with Jesus, believe me. But in my case, be real, be honest, be sincere, and always remember, guys, stick to the Constitution of Mgtow, which I am currently working on writing, and I need to present it to you at this next Sunday Throwdown with Traversable Mgtow from noon to 3. If you're not there, by the way, noon to 3 Eastern, if you're not there and you're not viewing, you're wasting your time. Get in, get out, enjoy it. See you there. All right, until then, take care, children.